So once you have your data, what you then need to go to is you need to say enable editing, and then it will open it up. So the first thing we do is we go insert table. So we need to insert a table in order for Excel to realize that it's in a table, and then we are able to do pivots. So you can see now the whole format has changed, and it actually looks as though we're working in a table. So you could now go in and say, right, I only want to look at Durban responses. And you can see now it's filtered us according to Durban. But over there, you can see it goes from 5 to 7. So the data is still there. It's just been hidden. Similarly, you could go say, right, you only want to have a look at Midland students. Right? And there we go, we only have Midlands. Or you could go in and clear the filter. In order to know if there's a filter button, you can see over there is a funnel, which is for filter, so you just go back and clear it. You could also say, right, you're only interested in accounting and informatics, and you can see now it's being filtered according to accounting and informatics. If you want to clear it, you click over there and you say clear filter. So from here we go summarize with pivot table. Yes, it's table 1, and we go OK. And now we have a pivot table. So what we want to make sure now is that we pull things into the various options. So we've got a filter, we've got our columns, we've got our rows, and we've got our values. And these you'll need to play around in order to figure out exactly how they work. So say I am interested in when did you matriculate? I can click and drag it over there. I also then want to have a look at the number of students in each of those categories. So I click and drag the student ID. Now, if you go back to your data over here, you can see these are numbers, and what it's gone and done automatically is given the sum. Now, we're not interested in the sum, because that's the sum of the student numbers, which actually means nothing. We're interested in the count, the number of student numbers. So there we go. Now we can do the count. And because it's gone in numerical order, it's gone and put the before 2016 right at the end. So we're not interested. We want it to make sense. So let's go 2016, before 2016, 2016, 2017, and 2018. These blank ones we're not interested in because they haven't responded to that question. So we can just go filter and say hide selected items. And there we go. Now we've got a frequency distribution in terms of the number of students who responded saying when did they matriculate. What we can also do is just go show values as a percentage of the grand total, and there we go. Now it's showing to us in a percentage. If we wanted to put this in a pie chart, we could also do that. Under pivot table, we go to a pivot chart. And it's going to use the pivot chart to summarize it. So I quite like that as a pie chart. So I'm going to go OK. But you can see now it's not quite making sense. So we have to go to design and switch the rows and columns. And there we go. There we're sitting with the pie chart in terms of the percentage respondents. And we can go in and add data labels. So now it's going and showing me the percentages. You could even go in and say format the data labels and say, right, what we actually want is the category name as well. And let's maybe just say showed as a percentage. Okay. So what I can do now is say clear, or show values as no calculation, and now it's got the numbers over there and the percentages over there. So I could just go and copy that and go and paste it into Microsoft PowerPoint when it opens up. Right, so I can go in and put that in Microsoft PowerPoint, just click where I'm interested in and say paste. I've got different options. I can link the data, or I can just paste it as a picture. So you've got various options in terms of how you want to paste it. And now I can go in there and say, right, I want to increase the font sizes of everything. There we go. And I can go in here and say I'm going to change the heading, and this is year matriculated. Right. There we go. So we've got that over there. And then we might say, okay, that's actually not needed because we've got the labels over there, and we can just go and delete it. Okay, so as simple as that. Let's go back and try and make things a bit more complicated now. Right, so maybe I'm interested now in the different faculties. So let me go and click and drag faculties across. Right, and I'm going to say, right, I'm not interested in the blank because they haven't responded, so I'm going to hide the blank. And there we go. Now we've got all of the different faculties, okay, and the number of students that responded to each one of those. So now this graph isn't quite doing it for me anymore, so I'm going to go and change the type. Right, I'm going to go to a column, and I'm actually going to want a 100% stacked column for this. Right, let's just go in there and format data labels. I don't need to see my category name anymore. Right. Okay, so what it's gone and done over here, it's gone and put my years at the bottom, my matriculated years, and then my faculties are within it. And for me, this isn't making sense at all, so let's go switch row and column, and there we go. Now it becomes a lot more interesting. So now it's showing when did you matriculate, for all of those, for each of the different faculties. So we can go in and say, right, let's add our data labels, and this is now showing the count, the number of students for each one. And there we go. So there we've got the count, and you can see there's quite a big difference between arts and design and the other faculties, where arts and design is showing that, well, close to 35% of the students matriculated before 2016. So a lot of the students in arts and design are actually a lot more mature and older. What it also means is that they're probably working and they've had a break in their studies. So let's go have a look at something else. Let's go have a look at program of choice. Okay, let's go pull in program of choice, and let's go and remove the year. Right, so now we've got our first, fourth, second, third. That order doesn't make sense to me. Let's go and rearrange it. Let's go and filter and hide that. Right, so now we've got for all of the different faculties. Please indicate whether this was your program of choice. And you can see it varies quite differently between the different faculties. What's quite interesting is that arts and design, more students in arts and design chose it as their first program of choice. Right, so they're in the program that they wanted to be in. However, in management sciences, you can see it's sitting down, it's sitting actually very, very low. Let's have a look at these as percentages. So let's show values as a percentage of the row total. Right, and there it is as a percentage of the row total. And you can see only 16% of the management sciences students that completed the survey are actually in their first program of choice. The majority are in their fourth program of choice or more. So what are the implications of these? That's what you have to answer. Let's go and have a look about how having access to free Wi-Fi having access to online classrooms. That's quite an interesting one. Let's see what the data is saying. And you can see here, so now it's showing it between the different faculties. Let's go hard blank, where it's not important, right? because they didn't respond. And now what does 1 to 5 mean? So 1 is not important, 5 is very important. And let's have a look. Majority of the students are answering 5, right? Maybe a little bit less so in health sciences and applied sciences. They're saying it's a lot more important. Accounting and informatics are also saying that it is a lot more important. Let's go and have a look at here. A clean campus without any litter. An environmentally friendly, a clean campus without any litter. We click and we drag. And we go in there and we filter and we hide that. And you can see, right, roughly across the board, everybody is responding the same. What about if we look at it in gender? So now we click and drag faculty out. We go and have a look at where our gender is. If we don't know where it is, we can just go in and search. What is gender stored as in here? Or didn't we ask gender? Okay, so we didn't ask gender, so we can't put it in. However, we can put in the year matriculated. Year, where is it? When did you matriculate? So let's click and drag it over there. And you can see here, pretty similar. Again, that's not quite showing it the right way, so let's go switch columns. No, it was. Okay, so those who are in 2017, a slightly smaller percentage of them said that it's not important. However, it's interesting that you're getting quite a few 1s and 2s coming through. For 2017. There we go. There's the 2s too. So actually, maybe the students from 2017 are not that interested in having a clean campus without any litter. We also had an interesting one here around being active in student politics. And this is now being active in student politics and with their responses. So this one we can filter and remove. Let's also remove zeros because that must have been not responded. So let's have a look at the differences here. So let's go back and at the survey and see 1 is not important, 5 is very important. So what is the data showing us over here? That of the 2017 crowd, a lot more students, more than looking at 1 in 3 students, actually said that being active in student politics is not important. However, the 2018 is actually, and the 2016 are the ones who are saying that it is more important. If you have a look up at the tops. And if you needed to, you can go put in those percentages. So what is the implications now in terms of the SRC elections, where 1 in 3 out of the students say that it's being active in student politics is not important? Does that mean they're going to vote, or are they not going to cast their votes? And what are the implications for that? How can we get more people to exercise their democratic right to vote? So you're going to have to go through this and find out all of the information that you want to look at. I can't tell you what you should be reporting on, but you need to go in and report. You need to do a minimum of at least between 3 to 5 of the different graphs, looking at different variables on the top, different columns, as well as looking at it in terms of different rows. Go through the data, see what you find interesting, and then reflect on that. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? I mean, this is a survey. This is what it said. Do you agree? Is it saying what you thought it was going to say? Is it saying something different? Are you surprised? We're interested in what you have to say. Right. There we go. And here we can see all of the students are actually saying that it's important to get feedback, especially from this 20